And so let's just a quick couple reasons on this. I'm going to get you guys in the chat on this for sure tonight, as we're not going super late here, but I want to go through just a couple of the points on this that are the exact points, that are the specific things to this, as to why this is occurring. The lack of run game commitment mentioned in this article many times over. This is a no duh. You guys all get this one, but this is no small thing, and there's no guarantee this was going to improve in the future with a better offensive line. It's not merely you can blame it back to bad run blocking. That was a little bit of the way in the early part of the year. Later part of the year, with what you had developed with some of the counter gap stuff, with how Charbonnet was finding his footing, how good McIntosh was going, game after game after game. He mentions a couple in this article. I think even this last game against the Rams, you could see it. Start out with 5 straight passes, finally get back to the running game, find some success on the offense, get away from the running game through the middle portion, come back to the running game at the end. No, now your offense starts clicking back into place again. It was like he didn't want to do it. I've compared it to a kid who didn't want to eat his vegetables. That's how it felt with Grubb when it came to him calling run plays and wanting to stay actually committed to it. Lack of creativity. Pre-snap motion, post-snap motion, resetting the formation, keeping the defense having to look at a variety of things prior to the snap. This was a big part of University of Washington Husky offense, what you saw that was there at UW. Stuff that I thought would be stuff that he would continue to translate over here, but there would be a lot of stagnation prior to the snap at times. Other times he'd dive into it and you'd see it and you go, man, run that 24/7, bro. Go with that. Keep staying there. Let's stay with that. But he would just, as I've said oftentimes, it's a counterintuitive offense that he sometimes runs, where this is working, but I'm not going to stay with it. This is a part of our DNA, but I'm not going to do it. Not really sure a lot why. When you saw it, it stood out to how good it was. It was a Zach Charbonnet goal line run where he starts out in the backfield and the line's back out to like almost an H-back tight end. Then he comes back as a fly sweep motion man post-snap. You've got other pre-snap motion around that. And then you counter that with those goal line situations where it's just him hammering with a pile of bodies, no wide receivers, no threat of the pass. And you go, why wouldn't you go back to this thing? There was a relation I had on this too. I was talking about earlier today, did a show over on the Hawk Zone talking about this, where mid-season Seattle went to the goal line and they brought out Sundle and they put Sundle in at fullback. Goal line, heavy formation, Sundle your center at fullback. So the pre-snap indicators then to the linebackers on that, or to safeties that are down around the box, is going to be that I'm going to follow where that fullback goes post-snap. Whichever gap he goes to drive to, I'm taking a step in that direction. You can now take advantage of this on defenses if you happen to do what? Run your running back opposite direction of where you're running the fullback. Because defenses are looking for those keys. And especially on this run game, for Grubb's run game this year, defenses were not kind of staying pad and being disciplined. They were running like hell to go get to where they thought that running game was going. There was a lot of room to open up to hit him with the counter, to hit him with the misdirection. And that's what you did the first time I saw them run that with Sundle. Sundle goes this way. You have Charbonnet go that way with the ball. The linebackers take 1 or 2 steps in the wrong direction. That's just enough to give him that room to get through for a yard. You only need a yard. You didn't even take 5 false steps, just 1 or 2 steps, a couple of guys. You're in, it's good to go. But then now when you saw them go to Sundle throughout the rest of the year, and if you watch him run that on goal line when they did bring him out, it was all the running back following behind the fullback. Time you ran it out there with him, you had him go this way, him go this way, that worked. Now you come out with this, that don't work, that don't work, that don't work. Why don't you go back to the thing that worked the first time? And why did you leave it in that way? So the creativity was there, but it was like a spark that never caught the fire, and he just couldn't stay with it consistently. And I don't think it could be just purely blamed on the offensive line and what they had. Forgot about DK Metcalf. Big point of Grubb coming in here was to make him a centerpiece. Big point of what Grubb did at the University of Washington. It has had a variety of guys that were NFL caliber players. You got Dunzier and McMillan and kid that went to New England in the, I think, 2nd round. A couple of very capable tight ends, good back, right? But was really stood out about the University of Washington offense. It wasn't just a Roma Dunzier show where just, throw after throw after throw. So that he was working everybody in. And early on in the season, you got Metcalf in motion like we were hearing about in training camp. You got him operating a little bit more out of the slot. You got him running some drag routes at times, manufacturing some touches for him. Mid-season, once you had JSN come alive, you just kind of were like the kid, the guy that moved on from the girl that, I kind of liked you, but man, she's really hot. She's hot. Huh? Yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Man, you're really pretty. Huh? No, I know you're there. I know, you're cool. No, sorry. But you, what's going on with you? What time of day is it right now with you, JSN? That's what he sort of did. And he could just sort of go to that. I mean, even forgetting about the running backs at the same time. And so there was never any ability to disperse the ball and disperse the touches and keep, again, back defenses off balance. Part of what then led you to becoming so predictable all the time. But halfway through the season, he just sort of bailed out on all of that DK motion stuff and DK out of the slot stuff. That went bye-bye, despite the fact you had a lot of success with it early on in the year, with DK on pace to have one of his best seasons of his career. But this is where we come back to that point again, which is in conjunction with these other ones, predictability. How many times prior to the snap did it feel like, and did you know for sure as you were watching football games, that this defense knows what's coming? They are feeling what's coming. They know exactly where the ball's going. They know whether it's run. They know whether it's pass. The predictability was there week in and week out, and you can't be that way in the NFL. The defenses are too good. The athletes are too good. And it's just a big part and parcel of this, but it is a part. Regression as the year went on. You did not get better as the season did not get in. The finer details did not click into place. The defense for the Seahawks, I think, got bit by bit better over the year, but the offense did not. And I think that there was too much talent on this offense for it to go from the best state day one to go to almost one of its worst states by the end of the year, especially as you were starting to add Abraham Lucas back to the lineup and get him back in the mix where the right tackle situation wasn't a nightmare. I mean, the team was playing better with Stone Forsythe offensively at tackle than they were with Lucas, and that doesn't make sense. Why were you regressing? And were you maybe regressing because the more tape coaches around the league got on you, the more you got exposed? Kind of felt a little bit like that to a degree. I don't know if you can just solely blame it on, let's say, for injury's sake. Cross out there, Lakin out there. Yeah, you lost Connor, but Sato played as well as anybody out there as far as a right guard. Fant was back in the mix. Barner, Farrell Brown, Walker may have been in and out of the lineup a little bit, but you had plenty there in the stockade there to get the running back talent out there to make it work. And DK missed one game. JSN was out there all year. Tyler was out there all year. I don't know. Not staying with what's working. Counterintuitive nature of this offense. When you ran the ball well at the end of the year, you didn't stay with it, maybe absent that real Cardinal game. I think that I said this last week, I still don't think you did it. When you're University of Washington, you ran trick plays at least once a game. You ran fake trick plays off those trick plays a couple of times around the single or two-time trick plays you'd run. It was over a trick play average that they ran there. We only ran 3 trick plays this year. So what do I mean by not stay with what is working? You ran 3 trick plays. You had tremendous success on all 3 of the trick plays, but you never went back and even tried any other trick plays. That's what we call counterintuitive. That's what we call not staying with what's working. And it was just a microcosm of what you got from him by and large throughout the course of this season. It's one of the biggest conundrum enigmas for me when it comes to Grubb. Why wouldn't you stay with what is working? It's hard enough to find answers in the NFL as a play caller. Why leave what the defense has no answers for? That would bother me from a Macdonald perspective when I'm trying to consider whether or not to keep a guy. That might keep me up at night a little bit. That might cause me to scream, as Corbin Smith said that Mike Macdonald did after a presser in frustration. Those are the main reasons outlined here as to why this is going down.